There was nowhere to share her stories. Something had changed. They sat like lumps of hard, dried earth inside her. A slow ache. She had no temples to hide in. They had all been locked up. So she left what she once knew and wandered as far as she could, turning, turning, turning. She walked away. A breeze met her uncovered face. There was no sickness here. Just air. And space. She walked for a long time. No one else was there. Just the weather-beaten scrub brush. Just the rolling hills. Just her. She stopped and took it in. Her dry lips began to move, mouthing the words of a story. She cleared her throat and dared to speak in a weak whisper. There once was a woman who believed she could change the world with a story. The wind loved her words and lifted them from her lips. She heard them repeated above her. There once was a woman who believed she could change the world with a story. And they drifted away. She spoke again. She listened to her heart and tried to speak the truths that came. And the trees rustled as if they were catching every syllable. She heard water moving and came to a river's edge. She drank as much as she could and continued to speak. Two sister seedlings grew close to each other. They shared everything. The river lapped up her words. A crow called out, "What happens next?" This was her audience. And she continued, even as the sun set. She roamed. She spoke. At nightfall, she slept in the warmth of a jutting out tree root. Leaves covered her. By morning, her legs were sluggish. She followed the river, collecting stones from its shore. Hunger escaped her. That evening, she built a fire. There was more shelter in this new place. She talked into the embers. It was her oldest story, well-loved, how she missed sharing it. Imagine a world of ice and snow. The flames brightened. The sparks shot up in excitement. The next morning, her legs would not move. Her eyes felt heavy. "Tell us all of your stories," said a voice. The sound came from one of the rocks she had collected. So she did. She told all her stories to the stones. Each day her body moved less and less, sinking deeper into the ground until even her lips had sealed shut. But somehow, the stones still heard her. Her hair grew into prairie grasses. Her face faded. Her arms slunk by her side as crocuses sprung from the place where open palms had once cupped water. After the last story had been given, her human form was no longer. earth cradled her new child. And in the days that followed, patient rocks waited to share her stories. Perhaps a rainstorm would push one stone to a river that would carry her words to the ocean. Perhaps. Perhaps a curious crow would return, lift up a rock, and take her stories to a forest far away. Perhaps. Perhaps the wind would scatter her words like seeds over mountains and valleys to places unseen. Perhaps. But one thing was for certain. Her stories would be heard. The land would listen. We